This past weekend, Christopher Nolan turned a 3,000-year-old Greek epic poem into a massive 3-hour IMAX blockbuster. But while the industry celebrates the biggest opening of 2026, the real battle is online. For the past year, the media discourse surrounding this movie has been a toxic minefield of pre-release culture wars and classical purism. But the second the projector started running, the fake controversies vanished, and a real debate took over. Today on Rewind with Samira, we're analyzing the media reaction to Nolan's The Odyssey. We're deconstructing how the pre-release political outrage fell completely flat, why critics are at war over Nolan's decision to cast out the Greek gods, and why the internet is divided over a masterpiece with the clunkiest dialogue of Nolan's career. If you spent any time on Twitter or Reddit this past year, you know that Nolan's casting was treated as a declaration of war. Commentators loudly declared that Nolan was desecrating the Western canon, focusing their rage on two choices: trans actor Elliot Page as Sinon, and black actress Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy. But the moment the movie starts, this anger evaporates. Why? Because Nolan isn't using his castings to make a surface-level political statement. In fact, Lupita Nyong'o doesn't just play Helen. She also doubles as Clytemnestra, the queen who brutally assassinates Agamemnon when he returns. By having the same actress play both the cause of the war and the instrument of its ultimate vengeance, Nolan turns casting into a brilliant metaphor for the endless, self-destructive loops of violence. This brings us to the first genuine critical debate: the theology of the film. In Homer's original epic, the Greek gods are active players who physically intervene on the battlefield. But as critics are pointing out, Christopher Nolan did something shocking. He cast out the gods. Nolan sands down the divine pantheon and replaces them with silent, natural forces. Poseidon is never a literal man with a trident. He's simply the terrifying physical power of the ocean. And Athena, played by Zendaya, is stripped of her literal magic. Instead, she exists inside Odysseus' mind as a psychological manifestation of his conscience, guilt, and post-war PTSD. Classicists are divided. Homer's world is governed by divine justice. But Nolan's Odysseus is a modern skeptic who tells his son, "You won't find Athena in every stranger you meet." Some critics argue that by removing the literal gods, Nolan turned an ancient pagan masterpiece into a devastatingly grounded study of war trauma. Others argue that he hollowed out the magic of the story, transforming a wild, mythic adventure into a cold, clinical lecture. While critics fight over theology, audiences on Letterboxd and Reddit are debating something more physical: the script. The consensus is stark. Visually, the film is a god-tier masterpiece, but verbally, the dialogue is incredibly flat. Nolan chose to have his massive star cast speak in a clipped, casual, modern American accent. On one hand, this works. It makes the epic feel intimate, like a post-World War II drama about traumatized veterans. But on the other hand, it means we lose all of Homer's poetic, layered wordplay. The characters are forced to speak in plain, casual platitudes, like, "The gods help men who help themselves." As one viral post put it, Oppenheimer zipped along because it was built on rapid-fire historical debates. But The Odyssey, the oldest journey in human history, sometimes grinds to a halt because the dialogue is too dry to match the scale of the visuals. Nolan is a visual titan, but this movie proves that without a strong co-writer, his scripts can feel like a beautiful engine running on very basic fuel. Ultimately, Nolan's The Odyssey is a historic cinematic achievement. Not because it's a perfect translation of Homer, but because it forced a massive systemic cultural conversation. It proved that a 3,000-year-old story still has the power to break the box office, break the internet, and make us question how we process war, guilt, and survival in the modern age. If you want to keep deconstructing the business, tech, and cultural algorithms shaping our media, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments. Did Nolan's godless adaptation work for you? Or did the clunky dialogue make you lose the plot? I'll see you in the next rewind.